So do you get introduced as Jasky or SIKKANT or
whatever you want, man? Whatever you want.
SIKKANT.
SIKKANT is how I prefer it because then that describes my personality.
Fucking SIKKANT.
Fucking dick cunt.
Welcome back to the Intersect podcast, everyone. We have a very big SIKKANT here. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know who he is. We're very, very excited to jump into this episode and dive into some of the interviews that you've done and like some of your backstory and some of the mental struggles that you've been through.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to come and sit down and chat to you boys.
Absolutely, mate. It's more of it's a massive thank you for coming on, because with like followers and shit, like nowadays people get this big ego and they're like, no, fuck you, man. Like,
I said that the whole time. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just kind of forced myself. I just forced myself.
It's like I feel bad for these two Geraldton boys.
Yeah.
They don't have any friends. They don't have any company.
Talking about Jero, how was it? How was that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so for people that probably don't know, we just did a 36 hours essentially in Geraldton trying to do some interviews and creating a YouTube concept. And the concept we had in mind, which has been there for a long time, we've just never had a chance to do it and always wanted to because the title of it is just so fucking entertaining. So the title is because they have the association of Dero, Jero, the rhyming, there's Deros and Jero. So we always had it in mind to go, we're going to go for this in the search of the biggest Dero in Jero. And so we did it this weekend, just prior to this weekend, Thursday, Friday. And that's when I was chatting to you boys and you were chatting about this podcast and I was like, oh, that'll be great to get some insights.
Yeah.
And similarly, we can use it for the shooting. And look, it started kind of unexpected. There wasn't that many Deros. The thing is, the point of it was, we're not there to like shit on a place. Because the funny thing about Dero is it's got a negative connotation, but no one knows what a Dero is. And that's what's funny. It's like, what is a Dero? So you can actually get people to describe this vague, ephemeral term that no one really knows, but seems to have a negative connotation about. Whereas I think Jero is a fucking awesome place. Like, I think it's just amazing. It's beautiful. It's got like, I'm not going to.
It's a lot of everything.
But obviously it's got that negative connotation. It's had it forever. Like, I've been to Geraldton many times before the video. We obviously set it up saying, it's the first time I've come here because it just makes it more entertaining.
Yep.
And day one, I just kind of felt like, I'm like, man, we're not going to find anything. Everyone here just seems to have such a positive outlook, and which is fine. But then you also want to kind of get the interesting people, the local legends, the kind of fun characters and just get a little bit of energy. And it slowly built. And then second day, it was off the chains. It was just hilarious. Like, we met this guy who's on bail. He walked us into the police station. So we're filming inside the police station with a police officer that's like, yeah, get that, get this one, talk to that guy. And then one other guy gets punched by another dude. And then this old guy tries to break my microphone. It was just fucking wild, man. And by the end of it, I'm allowed to swear, right?
Yeah.
So by the end of it, day two just like literally went up like a graph. We were just like, this energy is crazy. We had to like sit down for a bit. We had a 2.5 hour chunk of just crazy shit.
Yeah.
And good stuff. And then this one guy who we kept running into like 3 different times. First he was off his head. Second time he seemed sensible. Third time he's trying to fight someone. Fourth time he's trying to fight me.
What the fuck?
And it's down that Sterling Central, which they call the Gaza Strip, apparently, or Beirut or whatever. So it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
I think the video is going to be really like obviously entertaining, but also it's going to showcase that it isn't Jero Dero. It's just like a fun place. And it's a beautiful place because we've got a lot of that. But there's also some really, really interesting characters.
Some
interesting
people.
characters.
That's probably the wildest way I've ever heard it described. Yeah, it was amazing. Like the shittest parts of
No, but you know what I mean? Like, you can only like break down a connotation by going after it and then trying to like not. There's going to be interesting people anywhere. I could go anywhere and you'd find some like loose units or interesting characters. It's not an interesting video if I'm talking to like
normal fucking people.
Corporate Dave, he's like, well, I got accounting, and I said, fucking who cares? Like, it's boring as shit.
Fuck off.
Yeah, boring as shit. Like, and also, obviously, our channel is raw. It's trying to like get people to just share unfiltered, right? And when you leave someone unfiltered, they share their point of view, And that is the best because everyone has an interesting point of view. So we're not always trying to find cooked people or like crackheads or just like crazy people, which may seem like the ones that pop off and people go, oh, you just speak to like.
I mean, that's because they're the most interesting ones. And
to an extent.
to what people like to watch anyway.
Sometimes, but you get people to just share like their honest, open opinion, and that's very interesting.
Well, there was one that I actually wanted to bring up because as someone that has kids, when there's some kind of like emotion or like a dad that's gone through, they've gone to prison and they've had like drugs and shit, but they're trying to rectify their life and get back into that good life.
Yeah.
There was one that you did. I won't like bring up names or anything, but he said that he just came out of prison and he was 6 weeks or 12 weeks off meth, and he was trying to show that his daughter, because his daughter hated him, he was trying to show that he's changed to his daughter. That fucked me up. I was like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you captured this like brutally honest moment from someone that is genuinely struggling, but also just trying to do the right thing. And it's awesome that you can push that out, but also push out the funny things.
The thing is, doing this for so long and doing a podcast, you probably realize that a lot of people are yearning for a conversation. They're not really getting a chance to speak to other people openly. No one's asking them what's deep within. And sometimes just even the fact that it's so weird, a guy with a microphone, a stranger you've never met has come and spoken to you, it's still that rare opportunity where you can be like, I have a chance to speak, to actually connect with someone, to share what I'm feeling, because sometimes your partner's too busy, sometimes your friends are just in their own world, everyone's got their own lives. And that's what was interesting about the channel is you walk past the person and you're like, I really am curious about his or her story. But in a general human's not going to just stop them and have a conversation.
Yeah.
There's some freaks that will. But more often than not, you walk past and you just kind of envision what their story would be. But what you'd start to realize is if you actually speak to anyone and you can get it out of them, which takes skill, which takes practice, which takes a lot of stuff that just may seem like it's on the fly, but we worked on it. Not that I'm saying I'm perfect at it. I'm just building to try and get better at it. Things like that come up and you're like, that's amazing. Yeah. Like those moments can change so many people's perspective. And I didn't do anything. I just let the man share his story and his actual feelings.
Yeah. It was a really nice watch anyway.
Yeah. I don't think he ever ended up meeting his daughter.
Right.
Because the daughter messaged me and she's like, I never got in touch with him because I think I don't know what happened, but I suspect he may have relapsed or
jumped back on it. Yeah. Fair. Well, that is fucking sad. But it's also like if he can get to that mindset, but also relapse, he can also get back there again. Yeah. So, I hope that he fucking sees his daughter and rectifies his relationship.
Yeah. Same.
Is it hard to get shit out of people, like to just keep going? Because I used to have a speech impediment, and I used to struggle with trying to fucking do shit up here. And then when it came out, it was just even more of a struggle. So when I speak to people now, it's like
stuttering.
Yeah. It's not hard now, but it's still like when I'm fucking shitting my pants, like for an interview or if I'm excited, I can always hear you laughing because I'll like start out and I know what I want to say, but my mouth is just like, fuck you, cunt. I'm going to make you sound like a dickhead. And then like you always go,
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm watching the episode back and I'm like, this motherfucker just laughed at me. Fuck you. But it's like,
you're laughing at a man with a disability. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, is it hard to keep your composure while speaking to a stranger, but also just trying to make them feel comfortable? Because I think I was listening to the Timeless Mindset, the one that you went on.
Egan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was speaking to him, but I also listened to your episode, and it was very informative.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it hard? Obviously, practice.
Of course. See, hard is contextual. Depends what you're trying to achieve. And And that's what makes it hard. Now, that sounds like a vague answer, but I'll explain what I mean. Is I used to go in doing these interviews because I started doing stand-up and the whole story, which most people have probably heard me regurgitate 50,000 times, but someone that hasn't, is when I was doing stand-up, I used to struggle with crowd work. Crowd work being when you're breaking the barrier between the audience and the performer and you speak to the crowd. And I used to find that just fucking nerve-wracking. I would sweat bricks. I would just be like fucking stumbling. And I was like, just move to something else. It was just too hard. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Read all about it, listen to all the stuff, listen to all the comedians talk about it, spoke to comedians that do it really well. They always gave me elusive shit. So I was like, fuck, man, I just want to get better at this. Because the reason being, when you start stand-up comedy, like anything else, like when you start a podcast, when you start any artistic journey, when you start a business, when you start whatever, anything, you get the shittest version of that thing possible. And you have to eat enough bags of shit until you get something decent.
Yeah.
And it happens out of the blue. You don't know. So I was like, I want to get better at crowd work because I am in a bar with 4 methed out characters and fucking 18 drunk people in the middle of fucking bumfuck nowhere. And me regurgitating material, they don't give a fuck. They're literally not interested. So I can practice material, but I'm not really practicing it because they're not listening. So I need to speak to Dave. I need to speak to Mary. I need to speak to fucking Sham, whatever. Like, I thought I'd diversify and drop an Indian in there. but DEI, tick. I couldn't do it. I just would struggle. So hence, I was like, how do I get better at this? I'm not going to go get gigs where I get to do crowd work. It's too hard. The bar is too high. And in my business, I had my videographer, who's now my partner in this, and he's the genius behind it. He should get all the credit because he's amazing. I just do the interviews. He does fucking everything else, and his name's Tim. He's a creative.
Shout out Tim.
Yeah, Tim, creative mastermind. He's so good. Keeps helping me improve. And he was like, why don't we just find a place where you can speak to people, low bar, and just do it. And hence, we're like, the mall, there's people there. I don't have to get permission. It's public space. I don't have to get a gig. I can just try it. And so all the way back, the question you asked was, is it hard? It was hard because I was trying to only be funny. And being funny to strangers off the bat is the weirdest thing to do. It's really weird because it becomes like crowd work because I had no other way of dealing with it. So you're roasting a stranger that you've just met. That's weird. That's weird as fuck.
Yeah.
That's weird as fuck. And it's like offsetting for most people. So it started, not in the best way. Like I was like literally like, I'm going to fucking jump off this balcony, game over. This shit is terrible. But slowly, and why I said it's hard now, it's hard to go, which angle am I taking? And you're doing it on the fly because you're having a conversation in the same point. You've got to try and figure out, where am I taking this? No different to what you guys are doing. You're probably thinking, where am I taking this next? Am I going to be funny? Am I going to ask more deep question? I'm going to go like in this direction. He said 8 of these things. Which string am I going to pull on? So that's what's hard.
Yeah.
Because that guy that I was speaking to, had I had the comedy mindset, I would have gone, oh, fucking meth. Like, oh, did you like lose your teeth? I don't know, something stupid. I'm like, that's not where that conversation needed to go.
Yeah.
But that's hard because that is where the conversation could have gone and it could have been funny, but I would have missed the best conversation. So I don't have the perfect answer, but I just kind of know there's a little bit of intuition, like, and you just got to trust the first feeling you get. You get this feeling and you're like, oh, this has got to go heartfelt. And heartfelt, I know what he's feeling is some sort of pain, and the pain is being away from his family. That's where I've got to dig on. Not the fucking funny thing about why he's wearing TNs. Like that's not where this needs to go. But as you would have noticed, like when I get uncomfortable, I make a joke because it lightens the mood. And that's the only way I know how to deal with it. I've dealt with it.
We're exactly the same.
It's the way I've dealt with it forever. Because maybe it's again the same story. When I came here to Australia, I was the only brown kid in school, the only Sikh guy in school with a turban and a beard. So it was like always
In school.
Like
young.
I was here in 1994, 92, 94, right? What's that, 30 years or something, right? Literally no other brown kid in school. The only brown kid, I was like up north, because north of the river in Perth was more white than south was. And so I was practicing Sikh, meaning I had a turban, full beard and everything. So it was like seeing endangered species. They're like, who the fuck is this guy, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know if I was a guy, if I was a girl, what is wrong with this dude? Like and then in that moment you can get like defensive or like whatever, but it wasn't that. I'm like, these people have never seen someone like this. They don't know, like they're just joking. And I'm like, the only way I can counteract this is being self-deprecating, having jokes. And unfortunately that's the gear that I only have, is to like constantly, fuck, it's tense, make a joke. But it works to some extent.
What kind of jokes did you do?
I don't know, mostly self-deprecating, or like kind of make jokes about having, or roast the person, because you only roast someone you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you were talking about the sudden, I was like, oh, don't laugh at a guy with disability. It just breaks the tension.
Yeah, it does.
Or it hurts someone. I don't know, but I've got to make it careful, right? But I know you can take the joke. So I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's intuition. So you just roast the person a little bit, breaks the barriers, you connect.
How did that affect you, like personally, being the only brown person in school? Because I'm guessing teenage years, or
I don't know, like early, like year 2, year 3, so not teenage, like 6, 7 years of age, 2 years of age. I don't know, whatever. It's weird because people like, oh, it would have affected you. There would have been racism. You felt kind of like an outsider. I don't know. I think chemically everyone's built different, and I never experienced racism because I never saw it as racism. I'm sure it was, if you can categorize it as racism, but I was just like, man, it's like something I've never seen. Like I used to have this joke in stand-up, and I was like, I never saw a kangaroo because we didn't have the internet. Now everyone knows, kangaroo in Australia. I was like, fuck, that's a retarded donkey, right? Like it was just a joke because I'm like, I've never seen that. I don't know what that is, right? Like why is it standing on its hands? So it was just like it was just the banter that we had in between each other that I was like, well, I was just never experienced like hatred, because I would just turn it to be positive, because I was like, why think of it as a negative thing? Because then it's labeling it as something, it's separating you. Why not just take the label away? And because what choice do you have? Had I said it's racist, who am I complaining to? Who?
Exactly.
What the fuck's going to change?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change.
Yep.
I'm going to call Pauline Hanson and be like, hey, can you...
I saw that interview the other day.
Can you step in for me here, Pauline? You just got to deal with it. And my mom was mentally very strong, and she was, I say it was because she passed away about 10 years ago, but she was like the pillar, and I know she instilled that no matter the adversity, you see her. She's just like as you've got kids, they follow your actions more than your words. And we followed her action. She was like, no matter what the situation is, I'll bring people closer. No matter if someone hates on me, I'll try and get them to be my friend. And after a while, no one can fucking hate on you if you're just joking around being their friend. And that's how I navigated my whole life, really. My whole life, from business to friendships, to relationships, to all of this shit.
Yep. I definitely think it's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then I don't care if someone roasts me. I love it. I think it's amazing, because that means, are they going to roast you with hatred? At some point, that's going to turn into a connection. You can say the worst shit to me 1, 2, 3 times. After a while, you're going to laugh.
Yeah.
And then we're mates.
It sounds familiar. I said to Ian yesterday, I was like, all I want is for people just to fucking roast us. I think it's funny, and then let's go, Jasky. Give us your best one. But I got brought up with Pop and Dad, like from the ages of super young to I'd walk into my Pop's house and he's like, "Oh, here's the faggot you squat to piss," and I'm like, "Hey, Pop, you fucking wrinkly old prick." He actually died a few weeks ago.
That's a rough transition.
Yeah.
I love this guy, but fuck.
Yeah.
Just buried him.
Yeah. But no, it was like, and I think I looked up to him so much because he was so mentally strong. Like he lost his 2 sons in the same car accident. Lost all 3 of his wives. Like they all died. Damn, that took a really shit turn. But he was so mentally strong. I always said to Pop, I was like, "Pop, like, why aren't you always fucking like sad or angry?" And he's like, "Fucking why? What's that gonna get me? It's gonna get me nowhere." And I'm like, "Shit, all right, cool." So then, like now, well, before he died, because I was of the age of absolutely roasting the shit out of him. I'd go over his house and just, he'd be sitting there with his beer or something, and I'd just roast him. And he's like, "You growing up? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool."
Yeah.
And then, he unfortunately, he passed away. But that was the person that I always looked up to. It was, you're so mentally strong. I want to be like that. So getting roasted on this, one, would make for good content because you can just read out people's fucking contents and it just makes it really good. And then two, it's just thanks for the views. Like, I just think it's very, very interesting.
Because if with your closest friends, you start to realize amongst your closest friends, the harder you go, the closer you feel.
Yeah.
And it's probably a guy thing. I can't comment on girls groups, right? My wife is different in the sense that she's got that same gear. Like, she can roast the shit out of me.
My wife's the same too.
And it's amazing. Like, you were talking about the toilet, because I'm like, I sit down because I all day just on my feet with the kids, and I just sat down and she's like, "What are you, a bitch? Can you stand up and piss? Are you a man?" And I was like, "Fucking hell, eh?" Like, even sitting down, and it's awesome because it's hilarious and it's funny. If she was like navigating landmines and not doing that, it wouldn't be as cohesive a relationship. Sometimes you can taper it back. Don't go too hard. But I don't know about a girls group, so I don't know if they do it. But I know with guys, the harder you go with each other, by the end of it, you hug, you hang out, you just have a beer, and those are the moments you remember.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Big man.
Sorry?
Are you doing good?
I am good.
Nice. So I want to dive into a little bit more of your personal, like some of your personal mental health struggles. What was one of the hardest times that you've been through?
There's only really one hard time. I think I've been lucky that, touch wood, I've not ever really had to experience anything in the forms of
Like
the various
depression,
mental
anxiety.
illnesses like depression, anxiety. The time that was the toughest for me, which I mentioned, is when my mum passed away. At that moment, I didn't know what was happening with my body. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like all over the place. Like, couldn't hold eye contact, fidgeting, just like unable to focus. And it just threw everything into a whirlwind, because she was essentially the pillar of everything, of our entire family, keeping everyone closer, relationships we had. And prior to that, she'd met my wife, but we weren't married at that time. So she always wanted to see us get married. She wanted to see the kids. Unfortunately, she couldn't see any of that, which is what hurt the most. But I think I've been lucky, aside from that period, which still goes on, because you still feel that hole. And I know it's like the hole always exists, but you just get used to living with the hole, as opposed to like covering it or filling it. It's never going to be filled. But I think I'm lucky. Like, I don't get.
I can somewhat relate to, because like the only time that I've felt anxiety is right before I got married. Well, I mean, it was because of the dream, but it's like that shit's scary. But then after the wedding, it's like you're back to normal. I like, my whole family suffers from like depression and anxiety, but I've always felt different. Like, if something hard, like Pop died, for the week it was shit. Like, I didn't want to have sex. I didn't want to like talk to my wife. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to do anything. It was just a weird feeling. But then after that, I was like, it's like, it's like you said, it's like there's a hole there, but you learn to live with the hole. It's a weird feeling, but I don't suffer from anxiety, depression, or anything like that. And it's like, you speak to a lot of people and they go, "Yeah, I have this, I have that," and you're like, "Why? What the fuck? What happened?"
Yeah, and that's where I think I need to have more empathy, because if you don't notice what the signs are, you just go, "We'll just get on with it."
Yeah.
But it's not the case. Like, I've got family members that suffer from it, and sometimes I'm like, just want to shake them, go do something.
Yeah.
But they're not in that mental space to be able to do it. And I can relate back to that moment where my mum's passing, when I was just such an unusual person. I'm like, that was someone had tried to shake me and go, "Just come on, let's do it." Like, had they not known that whatever happened, I'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with this dude?" Right? So, yeah, it's sometimes I don't understand why people behave in those ways, but it's a real thing, and it's obviously can debilitate you.
Yeah.
But when you don't know like real world experience, you kind of just go, "I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it hard to talk about and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's why we started this, is to be able to create a community where people can come on and just relax, joke about it. Like if people can joke about the dark things that they struggle with, then it makes it easier for them.
Yep.
So, fucking talk about your crippling anxiety and just fucking roast the shit out of it. It just makes it funny. And then you like go home and you fall asleep and you go, damn, fuck anxiety. But we will get there. No, we won't. We have gotten there. What do you got there, mate?
What? You said you did stand up and whatnot. How did you get into that? Like, from a
Well, for forever, I guess I always wanted to lean into the stuff that I found uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, keep going.
Wanted to lean into the stuff that I found uncomfortable, and forever I used to watch stand up and I was like, I just can't imagine doing that. It's the most fear-striking thing possible. And then when my wife was studying for her exams and she was literally unavailable, just doing her own thing, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to, like, evenings were free. She was too busy, and it was for a period of about 6 to 8 months because her exams just were all encompassing. I was like, man, I'm just going to give this a try, because this is the thing that I find the most, like, lack of another word, anxiety, like, inducing like, act that you can do. Stand on a stage with one microphone, get everyone to have an involuntary reaction just from your words. And it's wild, because when it's the worst, right? When it's the best, it's the best.
Yeah, right. So it's almost like a self-growth kind of route. Like, yep, this makes me uncomfortable. I'm going to get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Which has always been the thing. I've always gone by the motto, whatever makes you uncomfortable, be comfortable with it. And then you keep, like, directing your compass towards a thing that makes you uncomfortable. Then eventually there's not that many things that make you uncomfortable. And then you go, great. And I think at the end of your life, you can go, I've conquered the things that make me the most uncomfortable. There's maybe one or two. I just don't have time for it.
How did you deal with the, not stress and not anxiety, but the nervousness of going on stage the first few times?
It's crippling every single time you're about to perform.
Yeah.
Like, you're standing backstage, you know you're going to get called up next. You're just pacing like a fucking maniac. You're speaking to everyone going,
chewing
hey,
his fingers.
Yeah, everything.
Fuck.
You're like, oh, what's your process, man? Well, my process is I sit in the corner and have a beer. The other guy's like, oh, I put my legs over my neck. The other guy's like, I'm stretching. I'm doing this thing. I'm fucking doing push-ups. Another guy's on a trampoline. You're like, you guys are all fucking insane. No one has a process that works for someone else.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just pacing, like having conversations with this invisible person in my head, pretending like I'm in front of the audience, and then you're like part meditating, part doing something, whatever. You just got to do whatever. Then your name's called, you walk out. The moment the microphone's in your hand, like, it just stops. I don't know, it just stops.
Really?
Yeah. It just stops. I don't know what it is. The moment you have the mic in your hand, it's like, I've just got this power now. And then you have one or two jokes that don't land, and it comes back.
Yeah.
So you got to keep doing it.
Do you think it's used to because it's like a normal shape where we're used to holding?
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah. I'm like,
this is cool.
Finally, I've got a dick in my hand.
He's like,
I'm at home. You're like, can you tell us jokes instead of licking the microphone? What the fuck's wrong with you?
No, that's cool. That is. We had a guest on that did some public speaking over in New York or something, Brenton. And they had this whole skit that they were going to talk about, like one of them being naked or some shit like that. And like same thing, the day before they were both shitting, and then they were like, "Oh, should we swap lines?" He's like, "How the fuck am I gonna? I can't remember mine. I'm not gonna remember yours." And then he reckons as soon as he got up there, he blacked out, and then he came to after, and everyone was like, "Yo, that was so fucking good." And he's like, "I don't remember much from that." So it's just like, yeah, he just must have grabbed it and then just went, "That's it."
There are some sets where you walk away and you're like, I don't think I was there.
Yeah.
I was somewhere else. And we did a recent line of shows that we're now doing more of, which is where it all started, is being fearful of crowd work. And now our show is 100% crowd work. So we did that over the Fringe Festival. We're going to be doing it in different parts of Australia, which is no script. You've got to walk out and you've got to build the show on the fly. Which, first time, the level of anxiety for walking out to do that show was like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Because you got no script. And that's you can have like a few things you can like use as triggers to have a conversation, but the rule is Tim is also the videographer. He's also a very experienced comedian. He's incredible and an incredible crowd work comedian. So I've got that to lean on, which really helps. So he opens a show. Then we normally have someone in the middle who's flown across Australia, who's considered crowd work, one of the best crowd work performers. He'll be in the middle. And then I've got to follow that. So it's like you're going at the top Olympic pole vault version of crowd work. And the day before, the hours before, you're like, what am I going to say? This type of person might be sitting there and I've got this joke ready and this is going to happen. And then you just got to let it go and then you just got to fucking breathe. Because if you're present, the show works. If you're not present, it just doesn't work. A scripted show, you can get away with not being present. You're delivering lines, you've tightened them so many times, you know where the pacing is, you know what the cadence is. People will still laugh and you walk away and go, oh, I did it, even though I wasn't there. With a crowd work show, you've got to listen to every little bit. And that's, I don't know why I get myself into these things, but
it's fun.
It's self-growth.
It's just what happens, man.
I mean, you're putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and you're learning to live with it, which is good. Like,
I think that's a lot of what we've been doing recently is just getting
weekend,
get uncomfortable, go do this. It's like going to see Sev and this, and we're like, all right, we get that. This is like. I remember sitting in the car with Staff, and I was like, all right, let's go. And he's just sitting there like
shitting.
Yeah, of course. And he's sitting in the car, I hop out, and I'm like, Staff, like we're going in.
Well, your first podcast, you mean?
No, Sev.
Like when we do
on
Friday.
Because Sev, like, it's nervous to have someone like come in just like a normal person and talk about their stories. Like, it's you kind of can flow the conversation to somewhere, but someone that has experience in content creation or even podcasting, you're like, holy fucking shit, I'm a bitch. I don't want to do this. But deep down, you're like, I'm going to force myself to do it. Our biggest thing with the whole brand is to get out of your comfort zone, right? And like you said, like put yourself in uncomfortable situations and learn to live with it. So he's like, so we have this thing where if I say pivotal, my brain's not working and I can't speak. He's like, all right, it's time to fucking lock in. Hey, what's going on?
That's good that you got that.
Yeah.
That partnership.
And it was like, I was sitting in the car and I'm like sweating. My asshole was puckering and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this. I don't want to. He's like, come on, man, let's go. Let's just fucking go. Yeah. And then it turns out Sev is literally such the fucking coolest dude. He's just like throwing jokes out, like just making it such a comfortable environment. And you're like, damn, you guys are actually just normal people. Like you put like content creators on such a high, not saying this in a bad way, but people who watch them, you put them on such a high pedestal where everyone's like, oh my God, I want to fucking meet you, thinking that there's some kind of, but they're just normal people. Like
you should be privileged to meet me.
Yeah. I am. I'm currently hard under the table.
Oh, good. Me too. There's two of us. That's why I got to keep.
Thought someone was sword fighting over there.
But it was. Well,
what you realize is when you meet someone who's experienced in doing talking for a living, and also being able to do this stuff, they will make the whole process more relaxed. You get a random person, and they'll make it fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, it's very hard.
So someone that does this, they can carry some of the weight. They know how to pace the story. They can make things relaxed. And I've done it like collabs with really experienced people like the likes of Isaac Butterfield, Nazim Hussain, like all these people that do this for a living. And you get nervous because you're like, oh, this person's like a reputable performer, whatever. And I'm like, oh fuck, I got to step my bar up. But they carry some of the weight, so you don't have to do as much. Obviously, you still got to be the person that's going to carry guide the ship or whatever the fucking saying is. But you when I'm meeting a complete stranger, which is essentially 99% of what I do, I've got to do everything.
Yeah,
that's got to be me, right? And obviously the team and whatever. But when you get people like that, like I know it makes you nervous, but the only solace I can give you is they will know what to do.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do as much.
Yeah.
Like even in this, I'll probably talk for fucking 70% of this time, and I need to learn to shut up, right? But sometimes you're like, you can say the things, and the things that will get the interest or whatever.
Well, it was there was once we started with Sev, it was oh damn, I can kind of relax, and then he just kind of just floated, and then I just felt like me and you were just chilling, just listening, and I was like, what do I do? I was like, thanks, that was cool, and it was like he kind of knew where to go because he knew like the basis of what like we do.
Yeah.
So it was that was super easy. But then we did a few. So we've done 4 episodes like before yours, and like you were the one that I was the most excited for, because I love your content. Don't worry, I'll suck your dick later.
No, keep going.
And it was
Next 10 minutes, just compliments.
I was so fucking scared. Like your one was like, I was just so nervous like to do it, but just
That's why you rocked up late.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we weren't eating or anything.
Fucking 9 o'clock. Fucking Geraldton people.
It was those 4 episodes, like just doing episodes with another podcaster, doing episode with Sev, doing an episode with a few boys, and then now doing it with you. I'm chill. Like there was no anxiety. It was more like I was just like excited to meet you, because I just love the shit that you do. And it was, I'm just fucking chilling now.
Yes.
Like doing it beforehand.
It's good. I got to take a little backseat now, because the last couple I've been like, I've just got to lock in. Staff was nervous as fuck, and now I'm like, my turn to be nervous.
Yeah.
I can just.
Normally when I'm like super nervous, I can't think. I can't but when I'm relaxed, I can actually listen to the things that you're saying. And I can, like you said, pull that string, and I can go, oh shit. Like as you were saying that, I was like, oh, like ask about how his childhood was and like growing up and stuff. But you kind of just like went into it, and I was like, fuck, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I should run the show.
It. Yeah, you should take over the whole thing.
Yeah. If it gives you any comfort, you've done very well. Like I think I've been on a few podcasts, not a lot, because I don't do that many, to be honest. But the others, not all of them, some of them are quite very good. They don't let it breathe enough, which is what I think is very important. In the interviews, what I've realized is one of the biggest takeaways is silence is not the absence of words, or whatever that saying is. Silence is actually building the words, right? I fucked it, but someone can Google it, right? But you know what I mean? Like the silence is more powerful than a word you can say.
Yeah.
And what you've allowed the conversation to do is not go, hey, I asked you this thing. Oh, let's fucking ask another thing. Oh, fuck, I've got this question. Oh, I've got that. And before you know, you're like, what the fuck? Sometimes I walked away going, what the fuck was that? Like,
I'm not even kidding. We haven't prepared. Like we wrote down the things that we wanted to ask you. They're all fucking. They're pole dancing questions.
Those are props.
No, that's beautiful, because that's exactly what everyone does. You go, I prepare a show, but the show is not where that needs to go.
Yeah, we want the conversations to just flow
just
like,
being
genuinely.
normal, because there's nothing worse, and we've tried it before. You sound like a fucking robot, and it just turns this like thing that should be like a good like listening or watching conversation to they're just like working off a fucking script or something, and it just sounds shit.
It's like a TV interview.
Yeah. It has some positives and negatives, because we kind of went for, all right, we're not scripted anything now. We're just getting in and go, which we thought was amazing. And then once or twice we're like, all right, we need at least 1 or 2 backup questions, because things can go pear-shaped, and you're kind of like, all right.
But that's just lived experiences, which is good.
Yeah.
Like we've gone through and we now know what to do and what not to do.
And the testament will be if you persist with it, right? That's going to be the next one, because you've got the baseline. You know that you can do it. I mean, what does my word matter? But I know you can do it. I can see you guys can do it.
Thanks, Dad.
Now, no worries. I need another child. Now, what moving forward will be is, can you consistently do it? Because a podcast done for like 5-10 episodes is, it's good for the fact that you learn, you grow. But if you want to make the podcast anything, and any person that creates content, it seems like the easiest thing to do, but it is fucking work. It is a lot of work.
It is hard.
So you've got to love the process. Don't love the end result. The end result means nothing. I love the process. It obviously helps people watch it, because it lets you do more of it, lets you build the team. But even if I had to do it in a vacuum, it wouldn't matter, because I love it. I just fucking love going, where is this conversation going to go? How can I make it funny? Where can we take it? Can we take the dumbest ideas, like finding the biggest Darrow and Jero, and go out and do it? Like, that is just wild that we can do that.
Yep.
But that's taken 3 years to be able to do all of that. And 3 years is a short period of time. Like some businesses that I've worked in have taken 4 or 5 years to get any sort of profitability and being able to like have a team and all that kind of stuff, right? So the only thing I want you to hold yourself accountable to is go, I am going to consistently do it. What's my cadence? How often am I going to do it? can I still do it while I'm in Geraldton? Do I have access to the people? Do I need to, whatever, right? And if you consistently do it and you enjoy the process, it'll do well.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it will do well. Because the only difference between it doing well or not, if that's what you want, I'm not saying that's what you want, but if that's what you want to do, is persistence, consistency.
Well, can't say what episode this will be, but this will be episode close to 40 or something.
36 or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've definitely got the consistency down pat. It's just tweaking those little things to make it just that little bit better.
Yep.
And it's also, I didn't realize, but being in WA is hard. Like, it's hard for a content creator because there's not much here.
It's hard for podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of reached out to, because I don't care about the followers. I don't care about the views. I did. And it was like something that was fucking me up in the head because we were episode 10 and I was like, this is such a good idea. Why the fuck aren't people listening? And then it just got to a point where I was like, this is ruining me mentally. I need to just upload it and forget about it. Don't even fucking think about it. And yeah, that's kind of why I reached out to some content creators in Perth, because I was like, I want to hear their story. I had to Google content creators in Perth because I didn't know any content creators in Perth. I didn't realize you were here. There's also Stubber. I didn't realize he was in Perth. Sev, I didn't realize he was in Perth. So just doing my own research and just reaching out. Yeah, it definitely helps. But being in Gero, it's fucking a bit difficult.
You got old mate Dion.
Fuck.
I don't know if we can get him on. I don't want him at my house.
I don't feel like getting my.
He might get comfortable.
Yeah, true. He'll take over our shit. Yeah. Did you see the dude with the blue dog in the trailer?
No.
There's a dude that drives
Dean
around.
or something?
Yeah.
I got given the lowdown on it, but we didn't find him.
Yeah, he drives.
I met a guy
around.
called Slobs.
Slobs?
Yeah. He's an old guy. His name's Tim. Like a philosophical beard. He's got like fucked up his ankle and he's on a workers' comp claim or whatever. But he's got a little bull terrier and a wife that absolutely hates him. But he comes to the Jaffle Shack every single day and he is fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah, right.
Hilarious. Just the quickest wit.
We need to find Tim.
Yeah. He would be an interesting guest, actually. He would be because again, someone called Slobs on your episode is fucking just amazing.
Yeah.
but that is it. Like the trick of a podcast, I don't know anything and take the 2 cents as you may, is the reach and the organic reach you will get from your podcast is from all the reels, like the small stuff you cut.
Yeah.
That leads people into the longer version, and then the longer version is where someone can sit down. That's where you can monetize, because long form is the way to monetize and grow anything.
Yeah.
But all the effort to get the reels, to cut the right stuff. Now there's a lot of AI tools. I think it helps you quite a bit. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's work that hopefully you guys enjoy. And by enjoying it, you can.
Well, I love content creation anyway. I love like making it. I love the back end of it. And now that we've been doing it for 6, 7, 8 months, like I've kind of found a routine that kind of allows me to still go to the gym, see the kids, go to work, because I work for myself and he's a heavy diesel mechanic. So
what do you do?
I'm a floor layer. Yep. So they call
He's
me
on his knees all the time.
Yeah, they call me the cockroach of the trade.
Yet you couldn't catch a cockroach.
No,
he wasn't that hungry.
That's right. Yeah, I wasn't. So I don't know where I was going with that.
No, you were saying that you got a good balance.
Yes,
the routine.
Yes. It like going into like that. I've figured out that I can make the reels. I can make 2 or 3 reels now within half an hour to an hour, and that gives me 1 or 2 days worth of stuff, and then I can kind of chill, go to the gym, all that stuff. So it's nice. It's good. Yeah. But yeah, it is definitely hard. Definitely hard in WA. And I want to go around Geraldton and essentially do the same thing that you do, but ask about mental health like questions and how they're doing. Just ask people how their mental health is.
Why specifically mental health?
Because I think mental health, the stigma around mental health, and well, one needs to change, but also the whole shit between men and women. Like, the men have it harder, women have it harder. Why the fuck can't we all just agree on that we all have it hard? But no one would. But we also think that getting out of your comfort zone and changing direction in your life is a big thing. Like, if you can do that and do the things that you want to do without like sitting back in the dark and going, oh, I wish I did that, just fucking do it. Like, it's not it is hard, but once you start to do it, it's not that hard to keep going. And two, like I said before, my whole family suffers from mental health, and I'm like, why? So I kind of want to get other people's stories and share those, so then people who are listening can relate to those stories and be like, oh, well, he tried this. Maybe I'll try that.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Cool. And also, I've lost a few friends to suicide, which is fucking horrible. So if we can get our community bigger, well, just out there, and show that the whole stigma and the whole thing with mental health needs to change, and you can open up and you can talk about it without. I mean, you'll get roasted, but it's funny, and then you can joke about it.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm just thinking like how you can even take that one step and make it even more interesting, because there's a level that you could add to. Because when you label something as a mental health based podcast, people are going to think, oh, it's going to be like heavy, right? And not that that's bad. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just makes me think, am I going to tune into this and feel sad? I'm going to tune into this while I'm driving to work and I feel happy, and I'm going to like kind of get this weight, right? Which sometimes is great, because you listen to another person's story and you feel happier. So it's doing the positive. But there might be a slight little adjacent tweak that makes it a little bit lighter for some. And the roasting thing is fucking awesome. Like, that's great. Like, get someone in and just fucking roast them. But I don't know if that'll go down well with someone that may not be okay to be roasted. They might be in the thicks of it. So, and the only reason I mention that is because our channel took slight tweaks. Sometimes I was like, this is just not working. And then a slight tweak opened it up, and it just started working in a certain aspect. And then you go, because you got to understand that the viewer is going to have an emotion. The listener is going to have some emotion, some feeling prior to pressing play or prior to seeing what you're doing. And typically you want that emotion to be either excited to learn, like informative, excited to be entertained, or like, I don't know, feel comforted or whatever, like, or whatever, I'm going to make money. Like there's still excitement. So, because there's a lot of like, for women in particular, like mental health related services, podcasts, information and stuff. For guys, there is limited. So you're onto a good thing. And I think sometimes if the feeling they get is like, oh, I'm excited to learn a new tactic or something.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm getting?
Yeah. See, I've thought about this. So because I'm so passionate about it, I overthink everything, and I've thought about changing the name. I've thought about changing the description. I've thought about changing the I do want to change our little profile picture, because it's just fucking the Intersect podcast. Like, but then also like people get confused. I've been told that, like when I read your thing and I think of either the incest podcast or they think of the insect
Definitely
podcast.
Definitely a Jared group there.
Yeah.
No, that would be Tasmania Central. That's a Tasmanian fucking winner. The incest podcast.
The incest
there you go.
podcast.
That's a slight tweak you need.
I don't. That's the tweak in the right direction, though.
How's your mental health after incest?
So it was, so I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. I need to change it to something a little bit more.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, not so weird, but
no, it's not weird at all. I think all that is fine. It's when someone listens to it, when someone sees it, what kind of feeling do you want them to get?
Yeah.
And people opening up with really deep and to some extent disturbing stories, heavy stories, can make someone's emotion go, oh man, the next time do I really want to get heavy? And the only example I have for that is it's a weird example, but I don't know if you heard of Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Workweek guy, like like lifestyle creator. He was one of the biggest podcasters back in like 2014, 15. His podcast was number one, blah 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 blah. His podcast was so tactic heavy, every single one about how do you improve your lifestyle, how do you do a better morning routine, and it was all fucking awesome. But I would listen to a few and then I'd be like, man, I love this guy's podcast and it's amazing, but I know I'm going to feel fucking terrible because I haven't done the 50 things he's going to mention to me. And I'm going to start feeling shit about myself because I'm going to listen to this next thing and go, fuck, I'm so far behind.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening is I just fell off the Tim Ferriss bandwagon. And occasionally I tune in when I, have the mental reserves to deal with all those tactics that he's going to go on with. But then I'm like, why can I listen to, say, for example, Joe Rogan? Anytime, I can just turn it on. The reason is it just feels like I'm just a fly on the wall listening to a pretty chilled conversation. He's going to push some buttons. He's going to try and lean into the conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. And it becomes entertainment while informative. But it's very lightweight. And it made me think about, like, back to our content. I'm like, well, if I started getting too, like, wild, people are going to go, I don't want to get into this 'cause I'm going to see some, like, fucking loose unit and it's going to be a bit too much. And not that we were doing a lot of that. It's just all that, the ones that pop up. And if people see 5 of that back to back, they're like, fuck this guy's channel. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So like, I need an occasional professional. Maybe I'll learn something. So it's like, you just want that feeling to be like, yeah, it's pretty relaxed, but it's not the same.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I want to try and implement in the long form stuff is like a little like 10 to 15 second like clip right at the start of the episode, but also post that clip where people can get an idea of what the episode's about. And then that way they go, oh shit, all right, I'll tune into that.
Yeah.
That's just more editing and work for me though, which is fine. But yeah, I definitely know that it does need some tweaks and some bits and bobs there, but I also don't know much about social media, so
neither do I, man.
you just fucking
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
You just do and learn.
and I'm just enjoying it as well. So
That's the main thing.
yeah,
That's the main thing.
yeah.
Because people always want the end goal. If you're enjoying the process, it doesn't matter.
The end goal for me, like I don't think there is an end goal. Like Sav asked me, what's the next step for this? I don't have a game plan. Like I love doing this, and I just want to share people's stories and get more people to open up, share their mental health stories, and just joke about it. Because I think comedy is one of the best pieces or best things you can do to help with the dark shit that's going on.
Agreed.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Ask your famous
All right.
question, mate, because we're keeping this beautiful brown man here.
All right. One question we ask everyone at the very end. 5 things to improve your mood. What do you do? Like, could be anything. Just 5 things you like to do
This is
to improve
personal
your mood.
for you.
5 things to improve your mood. Okay. Coffee, definitely one. There's never an upper limit of coffee. Go as hard as you want. For me, it's probably excessive. That's definitely one. Exercise. We spoke about before the podcast started. I try and work out most mornings. Not like that guy with the fucking ice thing in his face.
We've been referenced that so much.
So
this
many
time.
The guy's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Ashton, whatever. It's the wildest shit. So I do need to incorporate that because that looks cool. But no, I just get up in the morning and I work out. It's the first thing I do. It just ensures your mood doesn't go like this. It just kind of, you feel tired, but you feel like you conquered, so you're better. All right, 2. This is, for me, it's not accessible to everyone, so don't go out and source this. But
Crack.
yeah, that was number 5. We're going to get there. Hug your kid, right? So I'm saying don't go out and hug him.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking hello. I'm trying to help my mood. You fucking creep. We're at a park. Hug your kids. Like, it actually just like a hug. Like in the morning, just kind of, get a nice cuddle from your kids because wife doesn't want to do it after so many years of marriage. So you got to get the kid. Yeah. In fact, hugging anyone, I think, just because we're like, I don't know, blokes, and I never hug, but like you kind of, and there's sometimes in my interviews, I hug a stranger. Like, it actually makes everyone feel better.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's something. It's an evolutionary thing. And here's one thing, because I know like people in my family, and this is advice I can only give to my family, so don't take this as advice. I'm not a doctor or whatever, all that stuff, right? I felt members of my family have experienced downturns in their mental health and slumps in their life because they have nothing to fucking look forward to. They literally have nothing to look forward to. They are in the depths of whatever they're in and they're ruminating about some problem and whatever. Again, I'm not saying this is categorical. There's chemical and blah, blah, blah. So I have to keep prefacing it. I'm not saying this is my advice for the general public. I know these people. I know them for long enough, and I know why they're in that state is because if you're busy working on something, if you're excited about doing a thing, and a lot of the times it's a creative pursuit, And again, starting a business is a creative pursuit. It's the same thing. It just makes money. So not having anything to like, you get up and you go, oh yeah, I'm just
Go and do the same thing.
I'm just going to go sit there and type stuff for 8 hours. How are you going to have a good mood?
Yeah.
So I think have a thing. You can just take a swing. We have opportunities like this. We can do this. Like you couldn't do this many years ago and stream it out on the internet. It helps your mood. Like when I wake up and go, yeah, I've got this thing to do work. It just helps you. So have a thing that you can book towards. And finally, the fifth one is the planning of an activity is better than the activity, right? Like the lead up to a thing, like say a lead up to a podcast, and you might be like, oh, I'm going to get, who's your favorite podcast?
Jasky.
No, yeah, I mean, now your bars are too high. You
Yeah, should I bring down?
You got to stop. I'm saying, no. Who would be your favorite guest? Say you had any options.
If I had any option, the boys from the basement yard.
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Podcasters?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you had boys from the basement yard booked in about a month, right? It was going to happen. Between yourself, your family, your friends, leading up to that month, planning it, coming up with the ideas of what you're going to do and how you're going to like, where you're going to do it and where is it going to be filmed, what cameras, like the whole thing is the excitement.
Yeah.
Then you do
I'd be shitting my fucking pants the whole time.
But you'd still.
Oh yeah.
You'd be pumped, right?
Yeah.
Like you'd be nervous, but that nerves is like an exciting nerves.
Yeah.
You've voluntarily done this. It's not like you gotta go do something and you don't want to do. Having that thing that you look forward, like say a boys trip. So you boys had a trip booked to
Perth.
To Perth. You probably look forward to it. You're planning. You're in the WhatsApp group or whatever group and sending memes and whatever. Here's what we're going to do. That excitement just consistently elevates your mood throughout that whole period. And I'll give you a sixth one because this one actually helps me. Is materialistic purchases fuck you up more than they actually help you, right? For a short period, there's a slight high, and then you feel fucking shit because you're like, now I need a better thing than that thing.
Yep.
There are only certain things that I've purchased that keep it. And where I'm going with this is, you can look for permanent purchases. There's no such thing, but look for a permanent purchase. Meaning, for me, I love making coffee. So I was like, how can I make this a permanent joy? I went and bought the most extravagant coffee machine I could have ever imagined. Dumb as fuck, but it's given me like 6 years of permanent joy, right? Like it's just there. It's never going to got to maintain it here and there.
Is that coffee?
No, I actually was driving, so it wasn't. But
Jasky,
in the morning. In the morning.
Yeah.
So, permanent joy brought to you by a nearby cafe. So one of my friends' friend who's very well off purchased like this share in an island somewhere. I don't know where it is, like somewhere in America, near Hawaii somewhere. It wasn't even that expensive. It's like a very small share, but like you kind of get part access to that island. And he's like
Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
That's why he's hugging kids every morning.
Yeah.
So permanent materialistic purchases, if I bought this thing, it's going to give me like a longer joy. Just makes you fucking happy, man.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you get up, you're like, oh, I get to fucking make this coffee and whatever and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'll stop there because I'll have forever to go.
Yeah. No, that was good. There is one more thing quickly that I want to ask you. You did an interview with a fella over in Melbourne. He had cuts on his arm. It's the only one that you actually had to cut off and go to the police station.
It was in Perth.
Oh, was that here?
Yeah, it was in the Murray Street Mall.
What the fuck happened?
Well, we're going to be putting it out on our Patreon, so go check the Patreon because we try to put it out on TikTok. We try to put it out on,
and it just got flagged.
It got taken out. So it's a unknown story because I don't know. He said he cut someone's neck because they tried to ask him for a cigarette and he didn't have one. So story didn't make sense, but he had cuts all down his arm because he said he got attacked by someone. So we put snippets up. We tried to put the whole thing up as part of a YouTube. It got blocked everywhere. So Patreon has said it doesn't matter. So we're going to put it unedited all out. It's actually going out this week. So if anyone wants to see it, it's...
And where do they find it at?
So if you search Mr. SIKKANT with a double K on Patreon, it'll be on. And most of our Patreon is actually free because we're not trying to monetize the general stuff we just can't put on other algorithms. It's the extended long versions, which you can like pay $3 or whatever and watch the whole thing. So a lot of it's free. People think Patreon, you got to pay. You can pay and become a subscriber, which will eventually let you watch live streams. Because we want to live stream, like say all of Geraldton, we just fucking live stream it.
That would be sick.
And people can see the process and what happens and how we come up with ideas, and we're bantering amongst ourselves. We put the cameras down and just talk about what the fuck just happened. It's all that stuff. That's where we want subscribers to have access to something in depth. But that one's going to be on Patreon.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Live streaming is something that I want to do, like a live streamed podcast of us making the podcast.
It's great.
I reckon it'll be so sick because then they get to see us fucking up and, swearing and get to see all the shit that's not cut.
Yeah, I think that's the future, man.
Yeah.
I would love to watch live streams.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you for watching this episode.
Appreciate you coming on, Jasky, aka
Mr. SIKKANT.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was super, super fun. Go to Jasky's Patreon, Instagram, YouTube, all that type of stuff. Not that he'll get any followers from us because we're fucking small, but just do it anyway.
Thank you for having me, gents.